YouTube as well. So no need to share. Should be easier on our system that way.
Hello, everyone! Yes, it is that time. It is the time that I have been promoting. It is the LDP LCX Collaboration Sensation Celebration Proclamation. Yes. I am LDP, and with me is LCX.
Hello, it is I, Elle-C. And welcome. I'm your co-host today on LDP's channel. Where he'll be reading my visual novel, Samantha and the Pieces of a Heart, and giving his raw reactions to it. Alright?
Okay, can you guys hear me, hear him well enough? Oh, turn up, I have that turned up as much as I can. Oh, wait. Yeah, I have it turned up as much as I can. Would you be able to turn up your mic, Elle?
Hello. This is my maximum volume. Probably.
Okay, I might have to turn down the...
Sing 1, 2,
I might have to turn that down, because it was kind of quiet on my end, too. I'll have to turn the, story down a bit, I think.
technical problems.
Yes, figuring shit out on the fly. That is the LCX, or the Eldina Productions seal of quality.
Shall I give it a try? Now I hear myself echoing. You guys hear me?
This might be better. Yeah, very quiet. Levon is here.
That's from quite a while ago. You can barely hear me.
I don't know.
Testing right now.
Is there,
I am testing it out right now. Testing 1,
You
2,
can
3.
hear-
You guys can hear me?
You can hear Karumi can hear you.
Very
I
good.
can hear you better now. Okay.
Is it still a little bit low? Oh, nice. Tell us. Work with us here.
I think it's just that, like, the game itself is really loud.
You can adjust the game in the
Oh, I can?
options. You can
Okay.
adjust the audio in the options. Click on it. Options. Right click in. There you go. Okay. Music volume, sound volume over there.
Display, skip.
Music
Music.
volume, sound volume, all the way to the right and to the top.
Okay.
There we go. Just set it at about, I don't know, 30% maybe. Should be okay. Hey, K2J. There we go. Still low?
That might be too low. Let me...
Actually, it might be your mic is too loud. I've noticed that in a lot of your streams, actually. When you speak, the volume is like full blast.
Yeah, it is set to full blast, usually. Okay. It's turned down a bit now. On OBS, at
Yes,
least.
because it's perfect now. So, hey, again, it is I, Elle-C.
Okay.
And welcome
Now
to
you're
LDP.
perfect. Okay. Anyway, hello everyone. Hello Great White North, Yasuke, Karumi, KE, who is now officially canceled, apparently. I didn't follow that drama, but okay.
What drama?
I don't know, but apparently KE is canceled.
It's some personal drama.
Yeah, I'm sure. K2J, Levon. Now it's back to being quiet. Fucking hell.
Oh, quiet, is it?
I think it might be... I think it might be the game that's being quiet now.
You don't think so. He said it's back to being quiet.
Shit. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I can hear you fine now.
So, testing 1, 2, 3 once again. It's okay that, So, testing 1, 2, 3 once again.
Yeah, it's coming through all right on my, It's coming through all right on my... Yeah, it's coming through all right on my, Yeah, it's coming through all right on my iPad. It's coming through all right on my...
There we go.
Yeah.
He
It's
says,
coming through all right on my iPad.
he says it's my voice.
Would you stop
That's
saying
the only
it's the
thing
game?
it is talking about.
CXs. Okay. Yeah, it's coming through all right on my end, so I think we should be good. Okay.
Alright. Let's go.
Stupid question. How do I get out of this fucking menu?
Up. In the menu, on the lower right,
Oh, save.
press on back. Back. Lower right, menu. Press on back. It is there, right under sound volume.
Okay.
Right under sound volume is back.
Got it. Okay.
That's options. Back. There you go.
Here we go.
Click start. There.
Additional character. Okay. With Real Pie. All music from Kevin. Okay. Do you know this? Do you know who this is? Kevin MacLeod.
No.
Okay. So when did
Those are free music. Yes.
Samantha was a lonely little girl. So when did you make this?
Let's see, sometime around 2017, I believe. 2016 to 17. 2016, probably.
Okay, so not that long ago, I guess.
Yes, this was the last visual novel I ever made.
Okay. The last visual? Okay. Samantha was a lonely little girl. You see, the other children refused to play with her. When asked why, they would always reply with the same reason.
Are you going to read everything out loud? Exhausting. You want me to voice act that?
I guess,
It's because
sure.
she's different from us.
How different, you might ask? Well, you see, while the other kids... unlike the other kids, little Samantha literally did not have a heart. But that's impossible, right? How is she even alive if she doesn't have a heart? A pacemaker. There are probably a dozen or more questions in your head right now. But this is the plan. The plain and simple truth. Samantha did not have a heart. As such, the other children's parents wanted them to stay away from Samantha. Hi, old dirty gamer. After all, what kind of person would allow their child to play with a little girl without a heart? A heartless child. Why? That's totally irresponsible. And so, because no one would play with her, Samantha became very sad and oh so lonely. But Samantha was not a girl who took things lying down. No. She would take action. Did you want to read Samantha's lines? Or, wait, no, never mind. There's going to be a delay. Don't bother with that. It's simple. I have decided I don't have a heart. If I don't have a heart, I will just look for one. But where do I start? Of course. the answer was actually quite simple. Sir, how do you get a heart?
Siri.
Oh, Siri. Oh, shit. Yeah. To acquire a new heart, you must find the 7 pieces of a heart that has been broken. Fine. Where do you begin? Actually, I wonder what happens if you ask Glee. How do I find a heart?
Here's an answer from healthline.com. Place your pointer and middle fingers on the side of your windpipe just below the jawbone. You may need to shift your fingers until you can easily...
I think that's how you kickstart a heart. Okay. Good job. Useless as always. Fine. Where do I begin? The first stage is understanding. Go and see Sir John...
Doctor.
Huh?
Dr.
Rashian?
John.
Okay. For the first stage of finding the pieces of a broken heart. And so Samantha's quest began. Fortunately, it was a short trip. Dr. John's house was just right next door. Doctor, may I come in? Well, go on. Come in. Not like it matters. Although Samantha thought his answer was strange, it's not like he had told her to go away, so she let herself in. Dr. John's house was very gloomy. It was dark with only one bedside lamp on. Same. Dr. John himself was lying in bed, staring straight up of her ceiling, staring straight up at her ceiling like a zombie. By the way, as we go on in the visual novel chat, if any of you guys have any questions for LCX or any questions for me or anything like that, feel free to put them in the chat. We will answer them. After we're done with this, if we have some time left, we might play a little bit more Castlevania. So LCX can backseat me in... You're just taken out of the experience? Okay, well... Dr. John...
Yes.
Oh, sorry?
Nothing.
Oh.
Please continue.
Why, Dr. John? Whatever's the matter. It's over. But wait. What if it's not over? Right? She still needs me. No, she doesn't need me. Oh, which is it? Which is it? Excuse me, doctor, but what are you talking about? I cannot understand you. Huh? Oh, it's you. The heartless girl. Well, I suppose I might as well tell you. Not like it matters anymore. Dr. John is GMC, confirmed. It's my only daughter. She finally left me for a man. Some flamboyant singer from the city. After 19 years of caring for him, this is the thanks I get. She just leaves me. Yeah, I know that feeling.
He's sad.
She was all I had after my wife died, but now she left me, too. Or has she? No. That guy was no good. She'll come back. Or not. I don't know. I see. Are you confused? No, I'm John. No. Confused? Why, yes. That seems to describe me perfectly. Tell me, Doctor, did you leave your daughter? Or did you love your daughter? Well, of course. Do you think she loved you back? I believe so. Then that's all that really matters, isn't it? Where can we try this out?
Google Play.
Sorry?
It's on Google Play.
Yeah, it's on Google Play if you have an Android phone. If you don't have an Android phone, LCX actually has like an exclusive PC version. Did you want to actually link that in your Discord?
Yeah. I'll just do that right now, I guess.
Okay.
We'll just put the link into the chat.
Okay. Or yeah, that's a good idea.
I will handle it.
But yeah, if you want, the official version is on Android. Yeah. At that moment, everything became crystal clear for Dr. Wait. I'm sorry, how do you pronounce that?
Rationale.
Rationale. Oh, I get it.
Rationale.
I get it. I see what you did there. Yes, of course you are correct. Thank you. It all makes sense to me now. What was your name again? It's Samantha, Doctor. I see. Well then. I'm forgetting my manners. Now, how can I help you, Sam? Well, Siri told me that I should start by looking for you. I'm looking for the places of a broken heart.
Jesus.
So I can have my own heart. I see. Siri told you that? I'll be right back. Also on Google Play, but might not work on newer versions of Android. Oh, okay. I see. With that, the doctor turned around inside his stash of medical instruments for a bit. So, I guess, so the question, first of all, so you wrote the dialogue, right? Did you code the
Yes.
visual novel?
Yes.
You coded it? Okay. How did you do that?
It uses a visual novel scripting engine called RenPy.
RenPy, alright.
It's based on Python, but it's a scripting engine specifically made for visual novels.
Okay, so did you...
He was a member of the visual novel community.
Okay.
Original English language visual novel community for the longest time.
So
Near the start of the advent of the original English visual novel community, I was there.
Alright, so you did everything. You coded it, you did the artwork, you did the dialogue.
Yes.
That's really
and for
impressive.
my older visual novels, I also did the music.
A few moments later, he reappeared with an oddly shaped piece of wood that had been freshly painted red. I'm not sure if this is exactly what you are looking for, but I think this heart piece should be compatible with you. Ah, so this is a piece of the heart? Thank you. You're welcome, Sam. Good luck in finding the rest of the heart pieces. Oh, and I'll give you a clue. I think I know where Siri is talking about. Next, you will need to find someone who has an anger problem. I think you'll find exactly what you're looking for somewhere in the park. Samantha.
You can make this full screen, by the way.
It is full
You're
screen.
having trouble.
It is full screen. It's just like kind of like the transparency kind of like doesn't contrast very well for me.
Right.
Yeah. Samantha bowed deeply and then looked up at Dr. Rationale with a large innocent solemn eyes. Thank you, Doctor. I'll never forget your kindness. Nor will I forget yours, Sam. Dr. Rationale answered back. But Samantha had already departed before his words could be heard. Yeah, music is nicely done too. I agree. The music is from a professional who offers royalty-free music on his homepage. Okay. Oh yeah, so this could also just make cutscenes for other types of games? That's cool.
Yes, it can.
Okay. Happily clutching her one piece of broken heart, which was basically a thin piece of wood painted red, by the way, Samantha strolled into the park. The local park was a busy place and was filled with children singing playing all kinds of games. I've got ice powers. What have you got? One little girl said, hopefully, happily to another, as she pretended to be some kind of snow princess. Of course, while this was fun to watch for Samantha, she knew very well that she could not join them. They would not allow her to play with them, at least not while she did not have a heart. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, a cry of anguish and protest. No! No, no! This is wrong! This is all wrong! All wrong, I say. Oh, why can I never get it right? Stupid! Stupid brush. Stupid paint. Stupid canvas. Ah! It's all useless. Utterly useless. It had come from a painter who had just thrown his canvas onto the ground so hard that the frame was cracked at one side. Samantha approached him cautiously. Oh, I've heard this song before. Did Kevin write this?
Yes.
Really?
That's what I said.
Wow,
That's
yeah.
why you'll hear his music across a host of different games.
I've definitely heard
Offers
this in like
lots of royalty-free music.
Yeah, I've definitely heard this in like different YouTube videos or something. Sir, whatever is the matter? Why are you so angry? Everything. Absolutely everything. Ah! I'm going crazy! The painter had buried his face in his hands and answered Samantha without looking back at her. Surely you're joking. How can everything be wrong? The painter pointed his thumb at the broken canvas. On it was a painting of the park, complete with all of the people walking around and the children playing. And oh, in the corner of the entrance, there was even someone who looked a lot like Samantha, but the painting was not finished yet, so she couldn't be sure. Why, it's an absolutely beautiful painting, sir. Do you think so? Yes, I absolutely love it. It's so cute how you painted everyone in the park in here. And that's the problem. What? It's because I keep getting better. I can never complete. I keep getting better. I can never complete a single painting. Why I'm in the middle of painting something. I soon realize that I am much better than when I started. I end up trashing the painting and starting over again so that I can paint the picture to the best of my abilities. It also happened just now. I learned some new techniques while I was painting this picture of the park. Of course, by then it was too late to use the techniques on the entire painting, so I threw it away. I need to start over again so I can make an even better painting. But if you keep doing that, then you'll never finish anything. I know, and that's the problem. The painter was clearly furious. He looked mad enough to bite Samantha's head off. Still, she stood her ground. But, can I ask you a question, Mr. Painter? Yeah, it is a really good story. I agree.
Arriba, Junior.
What? What is it already? Go on, ask. Why do you paint? Why, just like all artists, I paint to express myself, of course. And whom do you want to express yourself to? A useless question to people who would appreciate my works, of course. Just like, just like... I think your painting is beautiful, sir. And just like that, the painter's anger instantly melted away into realization. Thank you, I think. I can finally finish a real painting for once. Yeah, put it on the back of the book, exactly. Old Dirty Gamer approved. Thank you so much, little girl. You can call me Samantha. May I know your name, Mr. Painter? It's Vincent, by the way. Samantha, since you really helped me out, is there anything I can do for you? Samantha thought for a moment, and then she turned to the broken canvas. She noticed that there was one piece of the backing board that had splintered away. She took her own heart piece and placed it next to the broken piece of board and saw that they actually fit together to form what was beginning to look like a heart. Could I have this broken piece, Mr. Vincent? And would you please paint it red for me? Well, I have no use for it, so certainly. With a few strokes of his brush, Vincent had painted the broken piece completely. Here you go, Samantha. Thank you, Mr. Vincent. By the way, Samantha, what should I paint next? Well, I think you should paint whatever you want to. Even if the result is something that you think is bad, you shouldn't just throw your old works away. What is good or bad is just one stroke of your brush apart, isn't it? Even if it looks bad right now, you can surely turn it into something beautiful one day. Having left the park after acquiring the second piece of a broken heart from Vincent, the painter, Samantha now had no idea what to do. She tried asking Siri, but there were no further instructions beyond this point. I suppose I'll just walk around for a bit and see if I had some kind of clue. Samantha simply let her legs carry her to wherever they might take her. She walked along without any thought of reaching a particular destination. That was from her. Only following the path that was in front of her. Pretty soon, she found herself in the middle of an unfamiliar neighborhood. Even all the houses looked quite different in design from the ones in her area. She came upon a teenage girl who was sorrowfully sobbing. Oh wait, who was softly sobbing. Oh, by the sidewalk. I see. When Samantha saw this, she knew that she just couldn't leave this person by herself like this. She stepped up to the crying girl. Hello. Can I ask why you're crying so much? Look. The teenager showed Samantha the thing that she had been preciously cupping in her hands. It was a little bird's body. Its eyes were closed, and it was lying motionless. It was dead. It was our pet. Mine and my sister Alexia's. It died because he refused to take care of it after she got tired of playing with it. She went out and bought a puppy and left this little one in its cage to starve to death. I mean, you could have also taken care of it. I'm just saying. What? That's horrible. But why would she do that? Miss. Miss. Oh. My name is Melania. What is your name, little girl? It's Samantha, but... Yeah. Why would your sister, Alexia... Was it... why would she do that? It's because she grew tired of his pet... of this pet. So she got a new one. Couldn't you have taken care of it without her? Yeah, exactly. That was my question. I can't. She got angry at me when I tried to help the bird out. She threatened to kick me out of the house. I'm economically dependent on her, so I can't do anything about it. Economically dependent? Oh, big word, huh? It means I can't feed myself without her. I have a frail body, so I can't work, and I have to depend on her for money and support.
Things got serious.
Yeah. But you loved this bird, didn't you? Of course I did. He kept me company whenever I was lonely. He was my only friend because I couldn't go out too often because of my weak body. Now he's gone and I couldn't even do anything for him. My sister, she always does this. We've had lots of pets go through the cycle of being neglected. I'm afraid that this new puppy will meet the same fate once she gets tired of it. You should talk to her about it. You should let her know how much she's hurting you whenever she does this. She'll never listen. She might even try to hit me. Holy shit. She did that once when I tried to talk back at her. And I need her because I can't even take care of myself. I'm a hypocrite. I want to take care of these animals when I can't even take care of myself. At this point, Samantha realized that talking to her anymore would just make Melania even sadder. Therefore, she went past the teenage girl and straight into the house behind. Just gonna, like, barge yourself in? Okay, cool. That's RPG logic. Oh, well, the
TV.
Huh?
Look at that TV set.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, like, that's a pretty large TV for somebody who's, like, supposedly financially struggling. Well, to be fair, like, not everybody spends their money on good shit. Like, shit that they need. The door was open, but Samantha knocked twice before entering. Miss Alexia, you here? What's this? A child has invaded my premises? Sorry about that. I was just talking to your sister, Melania, outside. Oh, really now? What kind of lies was she spreading about me? Samantha was taken by surprise at how cold and blunt Alexia was. She was also a confident, imposing woman, unlike the timid Melania. If it were not for the strong family resemblance between their faces, it would have been very hard to believe that they were actually blood related. Clearly, Alexia was the older sibling, based on her dominating attitude and her slightly more mature facial features.
It's domineering, but
Oh,
that works too.
domineering, sorry. What is a child? Don't you have something to say? Tell me already, or I'll have to ask you to leave. You're wasting my time. Enough as it is. Samantha steeled her
resolve.
Okay. She had actually decided to do something about this situation as soon as she heard the story from Melania. Even if Alexia was a bit scary, she would not change her mind now. It's the animals. Melania really cares for them. Oh, she's still crying about that bird that died. It was just a cheap little canary. We can buy tons of them. Tons of others. Why, I could buy her a whole flock of them if I wanted to. But only if I wanted to. But you don't get it. That one canary was special to Melania. What are you talking about? One bird is no different from the rest, isn't it? Isn't that right? Harry? Henry?
He's Henry.
She peeled the little puppy that had come up. Oh, Henry's. Okay. To her as she said this. They're alive, so each one is different. Everything is special. Every living thing is special. No, child, you don't get it. To you, they are special. To me, they are nothing more than objects. Toys bought to entertain me and my sister. And toys to be discarded when they are no longer of use to me. That's horrible. That is reality, child. Then what about your sister, Melania? Is she just another toy to entertain you, too? Someone to be thrown away when she no longer pleases you? Exactly. Is that all I am to you, Alexia? Melania, of course not. You are more than a toy to me. Your family. Then why can't you treat these animals that way as well? As family? Because they are just toys for me. They are not just toys. They are my friends. Friends? Come now. If these are what you consider friends, I can buy you some new friends to replace the old ones. Stop causing such a drama over nothing, sister. At this point, little Samantha had become quite frustrated with the endless back and forth argument between the two sisters. She knew that this conversation was going nowhere fast. So she decided to step in, taking a deep breath. She shouted out loud as she could, "Stop!" Even the normally calm and collected Alexia jumped back in surprise at the decibel level of Samantha's voice. I like how you worded that. Who knew that such a loud voice could come from such a tiny body. I get it now. There's no way that you two are going to convince each other. For Melania, animals are her friends. For Alexia, animals are toys, not worth loving and caring for. I have never even had a pet, so I can't say who is right or wrong here. What I do know is that you two do care for each other. Do they? Well, of course, child. It's just that Melania here is causing such a ruckus over... Listen for a moment and let me finish. Samantha interrupted Alexia before she could finish. This is going to activate my echo at some point. I just want you to know that. I'm prepared for that to happen. Even though she
What do you
knew...
mean?
Huh?
What do you mean?
I guess it's Alexia, not Alexa, but still.
Oh, I get it.
Even though she knew it was wrong to do this to people, especially someone older than her. However, there are times when manners and scruples must give away, and scruples must give away to necessity. Samantha realized that this was one of those times. She had to say what she wanted to say now, or these two would never listen. Why don't you make a what's that word? Compromise? Yeah, compromise. Melania can take care of the needs of the pets, and Alexia can treat them as toys if she likes. But at least allow Melania to tend to her needs. Even to the needs of ones that Alexia no longer wants. Alexia, if you care about your sister, then you can let her do this much, right? Alexia covered her face with one hand and bowed her head low so that her bangs covered her eyes. She trembled for a few moments. Melania took Samantha in hand, and she decided shielded her with her own body protectively from Alexia's impending wrath. Alexia laughed maniacally. That is an absolutely brilliant suggestion, child. It's Samantha. Alexia strongly stomped towards Melania and grabbed Samantha by the shoulders. She then hurled her into the air with carefree abandon. Okay.
Yes.
Samantha crawled around limply.
Rolled.
Oh, rolled around. I'm sorry. Rolled around limply in midair. Okay, bye, old dirty gamer. She closed her eyes and braced herself for impact. But when she opened them again, she found herself cradled in Alexia's arms. Even though it felt a bit scary at first, she found it quite secure and comforting to be held this way. Thanks for that. It really cleared my head now, Melania. Yes, Alexia? My dear sister, I'm sorry if I caused you so much grief before. I'm sorry I disrespected you and applied my own standards on you. I really didn't mean to. Yes, you did. It's just that I can't accept your way of thinking about these things. Fine, these animals. But you probably can't accept my way of thinking either. Correct? Melania shrugged hesitantly, but nodded to confirm her sister's words. But Melania, you should know that I love you. I've always loved you. Alexia, I love you too. You're my only sister, of course. I love you. Alexia was almost in tears, but not quite. Excellent. She said simply, it's to prevent herself from giving in to tears. She had no time for such dramatics after all. Then, just as this sweet child has suggested, let us have a compromise now. I'm not sure if what she said was the most adequate solution, but let's work things out. Alexia put Samantha back on the ground gently. Aww, I was just getting used to it. Alexia smiled and then turned to Melania. Let's talk this over, sister. We have a lot to talk about. We sure do. Oh, but before that, we haven't thanked Samantha properly. We certainly have not. Oh, I know. Would you like to stay for dinner, Samantha? No, thank you. I wouldn't want to disturb you two. There is something, though. Would you happen to know something about something that would match these? there are supposed to be 7 parts of these heart pieces. And I'm looking for all of them. You see, I am a girl without a heart. That's why I'm on the quest to find the 7 pieces of heart. So I may have my own. Melania, doesn't that look a bit like... Why, yes, Alexia. It's the same shade as that wooden coaster that Father used to love. It's our special memento of him. But surely our little friend deserves to have it. Wouldn't you agree, Melania? Unindubitably, sister. Father's memories will remain with us forever, whether his coaster is with us or not. As for Samantha, she'll need it. With that, Alexia disappeared into the kitchen, only to return with a few minutes later with their father's wooden coaster, the 3rd piece of heart. Take good care of it now, child. I mean, Samantha. I will. Thank you very much. And you two take care of each other, too, okay?
By the way, are you getting tired of reading?
Kind of, but, I mean...
I can do this chapter for you.
Yeah, but again, there's,
Yes,
like, kind of a delay, so I don't know if that would really work.
It's a slight delay. You can just advance it as I read it.
Okay.
How about it? Okay, I'll do this chapter. It's a bit long, so
Okay.
give you a little bit of a break.
Okay.
Let us begin. Since Siri was no longer of use to Samantha, she decided to retrace her steps and return to Dr. John Rationale's house. Can you guys hear me fine? Yes, folks. It took her a little while, but she soon found her bearings and was happily on her way to the good doctor's house. Samantha. Good to see you again. I've been expecting you. Dr. Rationale had anticipated that Siri would run out of instructions eventually. Fortunately, he already knew. He made out a list in a notebook with complete specifications on what Samantha should be looking for. With that, Samantha thanked the doctor and went on her way once again, on her solitary quest for the heart pieces. Let's see now. According to Dr. John's instructions, I should look for someone who can't accept the past. Samantha scratched her chin and raised one eyebrow after pondering it a bit. She decided on a course of action. Well, that old house at the edge of town is definitely a thing of the past. With that, her next destination had been decided.
After walking for a while, Samantha arrived at the gateway to the place. I'll read the dark parts because that's kind of easier for me to read. The gates were rushed
shut, and there were rushed shut, and there was actually enough room in between the metal bars for a girl as small as Samantha to just slip through, which she did.
Hey, zombie.
It was a large, sprawling, three-story mansion with large white fluted columns by the doorway.
Hey, zombie. Hey, wolf pack.
There was a long walkway leading to the house itself, with gardens on each side that might have been beautiful once. Now they were just overgrown with weeds and vines. Samantha felt an eerie chill as she took one step inside of the gate. It was supposed to be daytime, but all of a sudden, the sky grew dark. It was almost as if the entire estate was, a place lost in time to eternal night. Too fast. You can scroll back, by the way.
Oh, I can? How do I do that? Backspace?
Yes, you can. No. Just scroll with your mouse.
Oh.
Okay.
You can go back a bit.
Shadowed
Alright,
with darkness, a place at least in time for eternal night. Oh, lost in time to eternal night.
There we go. Okay.
This was different, very different from anything that Samantha had encountered before. Okay.
Alright. Nevertheless, clutching her 3 pieces of a broken heart, which were now tied up neatly in a drawstring bag that Professor Rationale had given her tightly to her chest, she pressed forward. In the ominous atmosphere surrounding the mansion, one might expect something dreadful to jump out of the bushes in ambush at any time. But nothing of that sort happened, and Samantha soon found herself in front of the mansion's doorway. The entrance was protected by a well-worn set of hardwood double doors. There was a bronze knocker in front, which surprisingly had not succumbed to rust. Knock, knock. Samantha knocked twice, and there being no answer, she promptly let herself in.
Wolfpack is just like this like spouting drama in the chat, and I'm all for it.
On entering the house, the interior was like an antique shop. The stained glass windows allowed just enough light to filter through for one to see inside. There were vintage wooden dolls, music boxes, and antique furniture with intricate hand-carved wooden designs, all of which had not been covered with anything to keep the dust off. It was almost as if the owner of the mansion was expected to return at any time.
I should collect music boxes, old music boxes.
Actually, it seemed more like the owner of the mansion had always been there. Ah, greetings. I see we have a new guest. Welcome, dear child.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Oh, pardon the intrusion. Samantha did a curtsy as she said this, as an instinctive response the stranger's extremely formal way of speaking, the lady of the mansion descended gracefully from the spiral staircase in front. Samantha was quite certain that she was the lady of the mansion, because there were no other ladies who resided in this mansion. At least not from what one could observe. Also, she introduced herself as such. You may refer to me as Lady Antoinette. I am the lady of this mansion, and currently the only resident. But perhaps not for long. And I'm Samantha. Pleased to meet you, Lady Antoinette. Antoinette was a petite figure with long flowing hair that just about reached down to the tip of her knees. And wore a pure white summer dress that was neither too flashy to be garish nor too revealing to be considered immodest.
Wolfpack, you are banned for that pun.
In short, everything about her, including her smallish face and sharp eyes, just seemed to fall into place. If Samantha could think of one adjective to describe her, it would be
Perfect.
perfect. I mean, I am perfectly sorry for intruding like this. Ah, pish tush. Do not be. You are hardly unwelcome here, my dear. In an instant, the lady of the mansion had closed the distance between herself and Samantha. Quite an impressive feat, considering that the spiral staircase was probably a good 5 meters away. Also, the lady had not done anything extremely physical, such as jumping or running towards Samantha, which would have been quite easier to understand. In fact, she just seemed to flow from the staircase to the ground and towards Samantha. These had all happened in an instant. Still, Samantha was not one to raise a fuss about things, which she could not understand. Or indeed, there was a lot of things that she did not understand. You see, this mansion only opens its doors to guests who are welcome. But you must be mistaken. I just let myself in. Not at all. There can be no mistake. If the doors have been opened, then you are a guest of this mansion. That is all. The mansion only opens its doors to guests who are welcome, even if I am repeating myself with this statement. Wait, then would that mean that there are other guests inside of this mansion? Yes, there were. Eh? Past tense. Does that mean there are no more guests right now? As I have said, right now I am the only resident of this mansion. Although it was not always this way. You see, this mansion opens and closes its doors, only to guests whom it deems worthy. As such, it works both ways. Jeanette prepared some tea and invited Samantha to sit with her as they talked. Whether that tea set and the tables and chairs which she had sat on were always there or not was a complete mystery. As Samantha herself never noticed them before. In any case, it was a fact that they were right there at that moment.
Meanwhile, Samantha took a step back and made some hasty steps towards the double doors from which she had entered the mansion. She wanted to check something, grabbing the doorknob. She twisted it firmly and then began to pull back with all of her strength. As she had expected, it would not budge.
Samantha weakly walked back to where Aunt Jeanette was. The lady had finished preparing tea for the both of them. Having nothing else to do for the moment, Samantha took a seat right next to Aunt Jeanette, although she refused to drink the tea offered to her. Now then, the mansion only opens its doors to those who are worthy. As such, it also allows exit only to those who are ready to be reunited with the outside world. In other words, this mansion exists in a place outside the effects of time itself. Even if 100 years were to pass, you and I would still look the same, and so would the rest of the mansion. Forever untainted by time. In other words, eternal life? That is one way of putting it. Laying that aside, the mansion only opens its doors to those who have lost their path in life. Perhaps you would care to share your story, Samantha? Let me get this straight. I haven't given up on getting out of this place just yet. But fine. For now I can tell you my story. And so, Samantha told Aunt Jeanette everything. From the start of her journey to find her heart, up to how she eventually found her way into the mansion. Clap, clap. Yeah. Jeanette clapped her hands flamboyantly. Coming from someone else, it was an action that would have reeked of sarcasm. But it seemed extremely natural for someone like Aunt Jeanette, to the point that one would think that she was born just to clap her hands. Which of course was not the case. That was such an inspiring story, Samantha. Now, if you will hear me out, I will tell you my story. Samantha nodded. Now where to begin? Ah yes. First of all, let me tell you about my husband and I. It was a long time ago, and you might call our relationship one that was written by destiny. We were practically made for each other, and were extremely compatible from the start. It's not like we had promised destiny to one another, but I had always thought that would be the case. It happened when I had our first and only child. She was a pretty young thing, and even though I was never good with children, it was almost as if she had charmed me from the start. Did you know, the first thing that she called me was Big Sister. I have no idea where she might have picked that up from, but that is exactly what she called me. My husband insisted that we correct her, but I paid no heed to him. Personally, I found it quite charming, would you not say? It is definitely different. And as the child grew, the more the distance between I and my husband grew. It was as if my world was reserved only for my daughter, and my husband was just an annoyance that I had to deal with. This was what I truly thought at that time. And of course, he realized this as well, because how could he not? I was not even trying to deny nor hide it. At some point, I stopped thinking about him as my husband altogether. I thought of him as something less than human, a cockroach, yes, an annoying cockroach who just happened to live in the same house as my daughter. Something to be crushed beneath my feet. Oh, you find the image disturbing. Nevertheless, it is the truth. My husband became fed up with my coldness towards him. One day, he confronted me about it, just as I had tucked my daughter into bed. I did not feel like holding back, so I told him how I felt. Absolutely everything, but what I did not expect was that my daughter, who was not yet fully asleep, would hear me call her father a cockroach. Then, without warning, I felt it, the sting of her tiny hand against my cheek. She had slapped me. She was a mere child about her size, so she could not muster any strength. Nevertheless, it hurt me. It hurt me deeply. Much deeper than as if someone had stabbed me from behind and twisted the knife over and over to prolong the agony. It hurt me so much that I tore out of the house screaming in agony. On that night, must have looked like a lunatic. No, perhaps I had lost my mind long ago. Was it really such a sin for me to love her so much? But that was when I first came upon this mansion, when its doorways first opened for me. And I have been the lady of this house ever since. I've watched countless lives come and go since then. Young, old, people from different walks of life who have lost their path, they always end up in here. And of course, when they are ready to leave, the mansion always opens its doors. It always opens its doors twice for everyone, except me. Now then, that is enough talk for today. You must be exhausted from your journey here. I will show you to your room. Sure thing, Lady Antoinette. But one more thing before we go. Samantha jumped off the seat and onto her feet. Don't you think you've done enough here? You love your husband and your daughter as well, don't you? You should just go back and apologize, is what I think. Antoinette was taken aback by Samantha's words. Of course, all who knew Samantha, the real Samantha, and not the girl without a heart, would know that such a thing was quite normal for this child. That is, Antoinette stumbled back 3 to 4 steps, having lost her composure. Creak! Like a camera flash, white light entered the mansion as the double doors stubbornly creaked open. It's open! Antoinette, this is it! Your husband and daughter are waiting for you! Let's go! They are waiting? Sure they are. You're sorry for what you've done, right? You've spent enough time within this mansion. It's time to go back. Go to them. Come with me. Samantha held out her hand before her host. Antoinette slowly but surely took Samantha's hand in hers. A hand that was slightly smaller than her own. One that reminded her very much of someone she still held very dear to her heart. Yes, let us go, dear child. It may be time to leave this place. Ah, yes. But before that...
Crack!
Antoinette tore off a small piece from the top of one of the mansion's ornately sculpted chairs. I think this will suffice for your piece of a heart. Samantha stared intently at the piece of wood that Antoinette had given her. And then she closed her eyes and clutched it close to her chest before placing it into her drawstring bag. That makes 4 pieces. I've still got some ways to go, but I'm getting there. Suddenly, she felt a light shove push her from behind, and before she knew it, Samantha was outside the mansion again. However, Antoinette was no longer with her.
Bam, bam, bam!
Samantha banged on the doors. Antoinette, why? I don't get it. You wanted to apologize, didn't you? Why couldn't you come with me? Who knows when the mansion's doors will open again? Why didn't you come out to meet them when you had the chance? Because Antoinette's sweet voice could be heard from inside. No, perhaps it had always been her true voice, unembellished. Because I'm not quite ready, Samantha. It would be nice if the world worked in such simple ways as you seem to imagine, but it's not always like that. Happy endings don't always happen just because you wished hard for something. No, not even if you worked hard for something. But you had the happy ending that you wished for right in front of you. Why couldn't you just accept it?
Oh my god, Wolfpack is right. That, like, it does kind of have, like, that South Park style to it. Like, at least in the background.
I wasn't ready. Samantha, I don't know when I'll truly be ready. But when that time comes, I'll surely come to meet them again. And of course, we will see each other. And her voice trailed off. Whatever forces that separated the mansion from the rest of the world, frozen in time, had taken full effect. And Samantha was alone once again. Fine then. If that's how you want it, then it's fine, Antoinette. And thus, Samantha gained the fourth piece of a heart.
I'll be back. I'm gonna quick get my charger.
We have a few more chapters left to go.
I assume there are
Plot starts
7.
to unravel.
I assume there's 7, right?
Yep,
Okay.
there's a little bit more to go. Some of the chapters are shorter than this one. This is the longest one. That's why I asked to narrate this one.
Yeah.
A bit of break. She walked off with a smile, knowing fully well that someday the doors would open for Antoinette once again. Even if she would not be there to witness it.
Chapter 5.
Shall I keep reading it for you?
I guess I'll read this one.
Okay.
I guess he's not here anymore. Samantha had meant to stop by Dr. John Rationale's house just before she continued on her quest. But the good doctor was not at home at the moment. Therefore, she simply moved on. Her next destination was a riverbank where an oddly unique boy was hanging out. the place was only a short distance away from Dr. Rationale's house, and after 10 or 15 minutes of walking, Samantha arrived.
Stray color. Yeah, that's true.
There were plenty of people by the riverbank. Most were kids who liked to stop by here before coming home from school. In the distance, Samantha caught sight of a boy who looked exactly as Dr. Rationale had described. He was shifting by the shore and throwing stones by himself into the river. Apparently, he was trying to make them bounce, but he didn't seem to be very good at it. Every once in a while, he'd get a stone that bounced 2 or 3 times, but most of them sank immediately. There must have been something wrong with his techniques, Samantha thought. She moved closer, but didn't approach him yet. She was fascinated by what he was doing. That's because he threw each stone the exact same way every single time, especially expecting a different result.
The definition of madness!
Wait, hang on. At that moment, 3 older-looking, taller kids approached the boy from behind. Oh no. Then, without warning, one of them kicked his back, causing him to tumble face first into the muddy ground. Fatality. Serves you right, you splashed water into my expensive school uniform, you little brat. Samantha was astonished at this sight. She immediately thought about rushing in, but what happened next made her drop cold in her tracks. Oh, bullies. Typical. The boy simply got up and lightly dusted his clothes off. Then, he stared straight at his tormentors with a look of pity on his face. It was almost as if he was looking at a bunch of insects who were not even worth crushing beneath his feet. The biggest and tallest bully of the group grabbed the boy by his shirt and then drew back and began to punch him over and over again in the face. The boy made no move to shield his face. Samantha grimaced and covered her eyes of this brutal sight. However, the boy did not so much as wince or even make a pained sound as he was relentlessly beaten up. Hey, what's wrong with this kid? Is he okay? In the head? I mean, yeah, he's not making a sound. What's wrong with him? Is he mute, maybe? The bully who was beating him up finally let go of the boy, who just stood there with his face hidden in the shadow of his somewhat long bangs. There. What's wrong? Too scared to say anything? Next time, be careful where you throw those things. Got it? Well then. Is that it? The boy raised his head at the bully in front of him, and he flashed a menacing grin. His eyes were wide and expressionless. Oh shit. Like that of a dead fish. A brutal onslaught of epic proportions followed. First, he grabbed the nearest bully's index finger and quickly twisted it upwards, causing the larger kid to squeal in terror. After that, he quickly jumped into the falling bully's head. The failing bully's head, and used the momentum of the jump, combined with his own weight, to topple the bigger boy over and fall onto the grassy riverbank, with his opponent mounted. The boy then unleashed a barrage of punches on his victims. Each blow struck with full power and pure bloodlust. Hey, that's enough. Let go of him. While one of the other kids quickly ran away to safety, the other one was obviously more loyal to their leader. he grabbed the smaller boy by the neck in an attempt to drag him to his friend. Ah! By the small boy. But the small boy bit down on the arm that was around his neck. He bit down so hard that his teeth actually dug into the other bully's arm and drew blood. The bully forcefully withdrew his arm, tearing some of his skin off even further. He kicked and punched all of the smaller kid. He kicked and punched at the smaller kid, who quickly turned his fury upon him and unleashed a barrage of scratches right at his face. This disappeared the strongest this disoriented the strongest larger attacker for half a second, which was more than enough time for the smaller boy to grab a nearby rock and smash it into the opponent's face. Red. At this point, the bully who had tried to help the fallen one staggered back and stumbled onto his knees. He then managed to crawl away into the gallop and eventually ran away on both legs.
Force multiplier, yeah.
The boy then turned to his weakened, fallen bully, who had managed to slowly stagger back onto his feet. He held out his hand in surrender, but his former victim would have none of that. The boy clenched his fists and prepared to launch another brutal assault. Stop! The voice did not really startle the boy, but it seemed that it was enough to make him stop. Samantha's sudden intervention gave the bully just enough of an opportunity to turn and run before the boy could reach him. Well, hello there, miss. Sorry you had to see that. The boy turned to Samantha with a genuine smile on his face. In fact, there were no traces of hostility left in his expression. It was as if nothing had happened. My name is Billy, by the way. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Should be a playable Mobile Legends character, yeah.
I'm Samantha, and pleased to meet you, too, Billy. Just, how do you do that? Do what exactly? I mean, attack these bullies. Not like they didn't deserve it, but, I mean... How could you attack those bullies so viciously and be so friendly with me the next moment? That's simple, Samantha. I have no quarrel with you, after all, and you did stop me from going too far. I don't know. I feel like the going too far thing might have, like, passed, like, quite a while ago. If anything, I should thank you. But...
Yes, you didn't kill them.
Well, yeah, I didn't think that was gonna happen. I didn't think it would have escalated to that point. But... weren't you really angry at them just a few moments ago? I was, but I am not anymore. But I am not angry with you. Actually, you're too cute for me to be angry at you. R/nice guy. I see. Samantha hesitated for a moment. In truth, she did not dislike the compliment at all. But, Billy, how did you manage to do that? To switch from angry to, not angry on a moment's notice? That's quite simple, Sam. The truth is that I'm always angry. What? It's a long story, but I think you have time to listen. Am I right? Samantha knelt down into a sitting position on the grassy bank. Billy understood that she wanted him to continue. You see, Samantha, I am a robot. Okay? I wasn't always like this, of course. I was once just a normal kid. Maybe kinda naughtier than other kids, but still normal. Still, I was a very healthy kid, unlike my older brother, who was very sickly. Anyway, I really liked him and looked up to him. He never allowed his frail body to get the better of him. He taught me all kinds of things, from how to play the guitar to rollerblades and even boxing. He was sort of the star of the family, and I really idolized him. This didn't change, in fact, the fact that he was sickly.
one day we were just playing around and he started coughing up blood. I knew it was serious because this had never happened before. I rushed to call my parents and we immediately took him to the hospital. I'm not sure what the doctor told him exactly, but it was something like he'd just have 1 week to live if he can't get a kidney transplant. It seems that he needed one from an immediate family member, and my parents both agreed to be the donors.
What? My parents both. You only need. Don't you only need one kidney?
But the tests. Oh, the tests show that they both were incompatible. In fact, the test showed that I was the only one who had a shot at saving my brother. When the doctor tried to tell me what the organ transplant would entail, I didn't care. If it was just to save my brother, I was all for it. Of course, my brother himself was against this idea. He warned me that if I agreed to this, then there would be trouble in the future.
Welcome back, LCX.
Thank you.
I didn't truly understand what he meant at that time. And maybe I never really understand it, but at the very least, the kidney transplant was successful. After spending a month in the hospital to recover, my brother was back in tip-top shape again. Of course, this was only the start of things. 6 months later, he again started coughing up blood. The doctor said that this time he needed a liver transplant. Again, I was the only possible donor. They said that they could create an artificial liver for me, which would work just as good as the old one. They couldn't do the same for my brother because of his weak condition or constitution. This time, however, I didn't want to undergo the same procedure again. I felt that I lost something. Not a physical something the first time around. And I didn't want to lose another again. Anything again. but my parents wished that it was to insisted that it was to save my brother. I refused, and my brother was always on my side with his mother. But my parents...
Matter.
Huh?
Matter. With this matter.
Oh, with this matter. But my parents wouldn't listen. They insisted that if we both could be saved, then it's better if one of us was left with an artificial liver. Of course, after that, it became a habit. Unfortunately, it seems that my brother's body was so weak that he was always meant to malfunction one by one as he grew older. Meanwhile, as the years went by, I would donate more and more of my organs to him. Lungs, bone marrow, my other kidney, and eventually my heart. Is something the matter, Sam? No, please continue. Well, it went on and on like this for a while. Anyways, I was forced to be the donor for my sickly brother until eventually almost my entire body had been given away. And that is why I am a robot. Now, Sam, after hearing a story like this, let me ask you, how does it make you feel? Angry. It makes me feel really angry. Really angry. To the point that I could hurt someone. Hurt someone, you say? Really? Is that the extent of your anger, Sam? Is that bad? No, it's really good. I'm happy to know that there are still people like you left in this world. My anger, it empowers me. It makes me strong, Sam. But you, someone like you doesn't have to be like that. And I'm glad I've met someone like you. Samantha noticed that Billy had been fiddling with something in his hand for a while. What's that? Oh, this? Catch. Billy tossed the thing that he had been working on to Samantha. She caught it with both hands and then began to inspect it with large, curious eyes. But this is... Yep. It's a piece of a heart. I figured you were needing something like that. But how did you know? Well, I happened to look inside your drawstring bag, which I snatched while you were busy listening to my story. Billy showed me the bag, and he had indeed stealthily stolen away from her. What? What do you mean? Don't do
It's
stuff
how
like that.
mean.
Oh.
How mean.
Oh, what? How mean? Don't do things like that. Samantha quickly snatched the bag away from Billy and clutched it tightly to her chest. Now that's how you get angry. Samantha shook her head and then closed her eyes and smiled sweetly to Billy. At Billy. No, not at all. You're a weirdo, but you're not a bad person. I thought that I could help you, but I see there's nothing that I could do for you. So, thank you for sharing your story with me, Billy. And thank you for listening, Sam. Well then, I'll be on my way. Sure thing. Later. Oh, and Samantha, one more thing. Yes? Aren't you a whole lot like me?
Okay, did you want to read this?
Yeah, there's only 2 chapters left, so let's go. I'll do it. With 5 heart pieces down and 2 to go, Samantha had a spring in her step as she bounced along to her next destination. She took a quick glance at the list that Dr. Rationale had given her, and that confirmed her next heading.
He's a Giga Chad before Giga Chad was a thing.
She
Yeah.
came upon 2 girls who were playing house with a foldable pop-up tent. Or rather, 2 girls who wanted to play house, but for some reason were not. As Samantha got closer, she noted that they looked quite sad, almost as if they were about to cry. You might have realized this by now, but Samantha was simply not one to ignore someone who was in trouble. What's wrong, girls? Why do you look so sad?
Billy!
Our friend Anna and her family moved away to a different neighborhood today. We used to play house together, just the 3 of us. Millie as a mother, Chloe, that's me by the way, as a father, and Anna as her child. But starting today, we won't be able to do that anymore. We already miss her. I see. That really is sad. I wish I could help. What's your name, little girl? It's Samantha. I'm pleased to meet you, Millie and Chloe. Millie, what do you think? She even looks a bit like Anna. Sure, she'll never be Anna. That doesn't mean we can't play together, right? How about it, Samantha? Would you care to join us? Sure, you're not Anna, but it's fun making new friends as well, right? Samantha lowered her gaze and thought for a while, and then she held out her hands in front of Chloe and Millie. I'm sorry, girls. I can't. At least not right now.
Huh? Why not?
It's difficult to explain. Yes. Well, it is because, children, she does not have a heart. The three kids looked up at the new voice that had entered the conversation. It was not so kindly old Professor Ian, who had overheard everything. Eh? Uncle Ian, what do you mean by that? Exactly what I said. You two stay away from this one. She's bad news. Don't you know? She doesn't even have a heart. But that's impossible. There's no such thing as a girl without a heart. She's right. Samantha closed her eyes and covered her ears. She wanted to run away at that moment. But then she remembered Billy, and how he had said that they were pretty much alike.
Billy?
He thought of how he had faced adversity head-on without trying to escape. Slowly, she uncovered her ears and opened her eyes. Everyone, please stop arguing. What do you want, heartless girl? It's not heartless. There's no such thing. It's fine, Chloe. Your Uncle Ian is right. I really don't have a heart. I don't know why, but I have always been this way. That thing which beats here. Samantha pointed at her chest where her heart should have been. There is really nothing there. You can even come closer if you want to try to listen.
Welcome back, K.E.
Chloe and Millie reluctantly approached her and placed their ears to Samantha's chest. It's true, there's no beat. You really don't have a heart? You see, this one is different. A totally heartless girl. I was right. I was right all along. She even admits it. Now you see the error of your ways, children. Yeah, but so what? Does that matter? Millie smiled sheepishly and looked around frantically, unable to understand what to make of the situation. Meanwhile, Samantha carefully took out her 5 pieces of a heart from her drawstring backpack. Carefully cradling the precious little pieces in her arms, she raised them up to Professor Eaton so he could see clearly. It's true that I don't have a heart right now, but look. Siri told me that all I needed was 7 pieces of a heart in order to have my own heart, and I've already found 5 of them. Why, I just need 2 more pieces, and I will soon have my own heart. Why, that's wonderful, Samantha. What do you say to that now, Professor Ian? Samantha will have her own heart soon, and then you'll have to let her play with us, right? Pieces of a heart indeed. Give me those. Without warning, he roughly snatched the 5 precious heart pieces from Samantha's small arms. What the? These are nothing but painted wood. Look at these things. What kind of stunt are you going to pull here, Samantha? The little heartless girl smiled. Of course, Professor Ian. I understand that they may look like wood pieces right now, but if you please. Samantha held out her hands, motioning for the professor to return the heart pieces to her. Professor Ian hesitated for a moment, but he eventually returned the pieces to Samantha, due in part to the accusing glares of Chloe and Millie. Here, see? Samantha said proudly. He had assembled the 5 wooden pieces on the ground, and when put together, they really did resemble a heart. In fact, only 2 more pieces were indeed missing at the top part in order to complete the shape of a heart. Professor Ian eyed a nearby well. It was about 2 meters away from where they stood. Now then, Samantha, let me tell you a little secret. I don't think I like secrets, Professor. You see, Samantha, no matter what you do, you will never, ever have a heart. These 5 wooden pieces of junk aren't heart pieces. This is what a real heart looks like, you silly child. Professor Ian showed her a diagram of an actual human heart which he had taken from his coat pocket. You see, child, I am a professor, and I deal in human anatomy. That is a study of the human body, just in case you didn't. No, you probably don't know. And this, you heartless little girl, this is what a real heart looks like. Now, does that look anything like your picture? No, it doesn't, but... No buts, little girl. Your stupid little wooden carvings will never be a substitute for a real heart. And besides, there is another reason why you will never have a heart, Samantha. Suddenly, Professor Ian grabbed the 5 precious pieces of a heart from the ground. With one single motion, he launched them into the air and straight into the well, which he had been eyeing earlier. One by one, the heart pieces fell into the depths of the well and landed with a faint, audible splash. You see, Samantha, you are a puppet. Wooden puppets have no heart. Samantha bowed her head low and stepped forward, slowly. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4. Samantha, where are you going? In the blink of an eye, Samantha had charged towards the well, determined to retrieve the 5 heart pieces, with no thought that she had worked so hard to attain. Yep. With no thought as to her own safety, she jumped as high as her little legs could carry her. Samantha! You can read the rest of this. This is the final chapter.
Okay. With no regard for her own safety, Samantha flung herself up and over into the well. Her one and only goal was to retrieve those precious heart pieces that Professor Ian had purposely tossed inside. Humph! Got you! Suddenly, Samantha fell. A powerful arm wrapped around her. Her waist from behind. Dr. Rationale, please, let me go. I need to get my heart pieces back. Dr. Rationale, who had hoisted Samantha to safety, shook his head as he gently picked the little girl down on the ground. There is no need to jump in after them, Sam. Right. We'll get them back for you. Antoinette? You mean you made it all? You made it out? Antoinette placed her hand on Dr. Rationale's shoulder. Yes. A few months after you got out. A few moments after you got out, the doors opened again, and there was my husband waiting for me. I must say, it was quite a remarkable reunion, wasn't it, darling? Wait, you mean... Antoinette nodded in reply with Dr. Rationale, while Dr. Rationale was smiling from ear to ear. Samantha stared bewildered at Antoinette and Dr. Rationale. Of course, once the little wheels in her head started spinning, it was actually easy for little Samantha to put 2 and 2 together. Sam, It's all thanks to you that I was
Reunited.
reunited with my wife. So now it's our turn to help you. There was actually a small pail and a long wooden pail right next to the well. Huh?
Oh,
Pole
long
and a
wooden-
long wooden pail next to the well, as well as some rope.
Hi, Cerulean.
People would use this to fetch water from the well. Of course, the thought of making use of these items had never crossed Samantha's mind when Professor Ian hurled her precious heart pieces into the well.
You know, if she doesn't have a heart, does that mean, like, if she had, like, fallen down the well, she probably would have survived because she was kind of dead anyway? Like, that...
maybe.
I might have just, like, found, like, logic loophole. Anyway, with that, with a bit of trial and error, Dr. Rationale managed to retrieve all of Samantha's heart pieces. They were very wet, but none the worse for wear. Thank you very much. Samantha clutched her precious items and smiled happily. She coddled them like a mother and would cradle her baby. Meanwhile, Chloe and Millie made a slight nod at each other and crept away silently. So what does that prove? A puppet will always be a puppet. You should know that as well, Dr. Rationale. The two of us helped to create this thing. What? Is this true, Doctor? Samantha was quite confused at the sudden revelation. Of course, who wouldn't be? Dr. Rationale hesitated for a bit, but he turned to face Samantha. Look into her clear, unclouded eyes. Dr. Rationale knew exactly what he had to do. He had to tell the truth without holding anything back. Whatever the results may be. It's true, Sam. We made you. We both did. I was Professor Ian's assistant back then. We wanted to create
the ultimate puppet. Something that could walk, talk, think, and act like a real human. Like a real human being. And that was how you were created. But the one thing we could not replicate in life was a functioning heart. No matter what we tried to do, we could not replicate human emotion. We couldn't program you with the competent component and that is the human heart. You were discarded, little girl. What you are is a reject. A human substitute. Pretending to be human, even though she doesn't and never will have a heart. Samantha sank down on her knees, dumbfounded and unable to fully process everything that she had just heard. As if echoing her feelings, the sky rumbled with a thunderous roar. And without warning, it began to rain. Professor Ian quickly ran inside his house, slamming the door behind him as he went. Everyone else reluctantly followed suit and began to walk away to find some shelter. In the end, only Samantha and Dr. Rationale remained. Even Antoinette had left the scene. Proto girl. Dr. Rationale. Samantha looked up at the doctor. He was standing over her in silence. His bangs cast a grim shadow over his eyes, so his expression could not be seen. He was trembling, but this was only noticeable after all. This is only natural. After all, his clothes were drenched by the rain. Still, he stood there next to Samantha. A whirlwind of emotion washed over Samantha. She clutched the 5 pieces of heart that she had gathered. No, the useless pieces of wood that she had worked so hard to earn. If she had the strength to break them apart, or this at this moment,
That moment.
at that moment, Samantha would have done so without hesitation. Plop, 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 plop. Piece by piece, she allowed the wooden pieces to slip from her hands and drop to the muddy ground. These things are really worthless, aren't they? No, they are not, darling. A familiar female voice came from behind Samantha. Hold on. A soft woman,
Warm hand.
a warm hand, gently is gently rested itself on her shoulder. I am getting really tired. Antoinette? Definitely. They are not worthless. Dr. Rationale stooped down to pick up the pieces of heart, one by one. It's true that I thought you were a failed project, but I was wrong about that. Completely wrong. Sam, it's not that we couldn't create a heart for you. It's just that we didn't understand the true meaning of a heart. Ah, as expected of my dear husband. He finally gets it. Antoinette closed her eyes and smiled confidently. Dr. Rationale smiled as well. This time, Samantha could clearly see his expression. Sam, is a heart really something that beats inside of us in here? He clutched his chest. Or is it something beyond that? Samantha, something beyond that? Dr. Rationale took out a handkerchief and began to assemble the 5 wooden pieces that Samantha had collected during her journey. Look, Sam, why do you think these 5 wooden pieces fit so well together? Do you think they almost look like a heart? Samantha examined the 5 pieces carefully and confirmed that the doctor's words with her own eyes. It was true. When they seemed to be awkwardly shaped and didn't exactly match each other in color, being all different shades of red. The 5 pieces of heart actually fit so well when put together that they unmistakably formed an unfinished heart. They really do. That's proof that these wooden pieces didn't come together by mere accident. No matter what their origins were, each piece was deliberately made to fit together with the others. They are the proof of your connections with the people you have met in your quest, Sam. Do you understand how do you understand now, my dear child? Antoinette scooped Samantha up from the ground and held her up to her shoulder. The same way that she used to carry her own daughter. Antoinette's dress was soaked with muddy water, but she did not care. It is not about the wood and the crude paint from which they were made. It is about the feelings of the giver that they expressed, so represent. So therefore, don't just throw those feelings away like they were nothing, Sam. Is that right? Chloe and Millie too? Here, Samantha. Let's play together. Sometime, okay? Millie held a small pouch out of Samantha.
Samantha. Held the small pouch out at Samantha.
Oh, out at Samantha. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, dear child. Antoinette placed Samantha on the ground. Samantha held out her hand. Millie cupped her hands around Samantha. A hand that was ever so slightly smaller than her own. Opening the pouch, Samantha's eyes lit up at what was inside. Why, these are... As she poured the contents of the pouch out into her hand, Samantha saw that they were actually 2 pieces of wood. Hastily cut up and shaved down and awkwardly colored red with a marker pen. the last pieces of the heart. Dr. Rationale beckons for Samantha to take the pieces to him. As expected, a perfect fit. But they'll fall apart if you try to move them, though. Why, yes, that is a problem, is it not? Not at all. I have just the perfect solution. Make way. Make way! The voice that came from a new participant to the conversation. Billy the android. Hi, King's Corgi. I assume you joined earlier, but I'm only now looking at chat. Billy crouched down next to the heart pieces and began applying a liquid substance all over the edges. What's that? Well, some people like to call it glue. Quite a fascinating substance, really. More like a fastening substance, anyway. I mean, it can mend us. It can mend just about anything. Perhaps even the most fragile of broken hearts.
El Nino 2.0, how are you?
Sounds creepy. Oh, whatever. Billy stared intently at his handiwork, and being quite satisfied with the precision with which he had stuck the pieces together. He had it over his head as if he were praising some deity, which made him look a bit silly as raindrops kept getting into his eyes, and he had to squint his head, his hand, the position.
Squint
to hold his position. Oh, sorry. Got carried away. Here you go, Samantha. Sorry I couldn't do anything about the color. They're definitely red, but each piece is a slightly different shade. But hey, you can think of it as a symbol of your multicolored experiences or something. That is corny as fuck. Well, with that much, my brush should be of assistance. Now, give that to me, young man. This time it was Vincent, the painter, who had joined the fray. Producing one of his many paintbrushes and dipping the point inside one of his the paint inside one of his paint bottles strapped to his belt pouch. He painted the entire wooden sculpture a bright shade of blood red, with a few expert strokes of his brush. Here you go, Samantha. I have painted many things in my time, but this project, as short as it may have been, was definitely the most satisfying. Samantha grabbed the now completed heart with both hands. No longer fragments, but one complete piece of all put together. It was still somewhat awkwardly shaped, held together with super glue. And although Vincent's paint job was flawless, there was really no way to erase the shades of
Amateurish.
Amateurish colors scattered all throughout. She smiled and let her most honest thoughts escape from their lips. Thank you for everything. It's truly beautiful. Holding the precious item to her chest, Samantha looked up at the sky. It was still raining, but not so much as before. Beyond the clouds, the sun had begun to shine. The end. Yeah, it's... My parents are still doing, like, renovation stuff. Yay!
So, what do you think?
Very good. It kind of reminds me a bit of, like, The Wizard of Oz. Like, kind of, like... sort of like that style of symbolism. Special thanks to... Who is this? Roop?
Yes, my friend. That's my friend. She drew some of the characters here.
Is that the one that, like, fell off the face of the earth a while ago?
No?
Oh, you still talk to her?
Yes?
Okay, cool. Wizard of Oz, yeah. Tin Man, you always had a heart. Exactly, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Well, thank you very much. Any questions? The story?
I don't have any questions. I thought it was really good, though. Like, it was... just kind of like the character of everybody, you know, like kind of like the development. I thought it was a really nice kind of touching story. You need to watch from the beginning. Yeah, definitely do so, Cerulean. Speaking of Wizard of Oz, whenever I get back to doing like regular rompery, I have an interesting thing. It's like a Chinese... It's something I'm pretty excited to check out. It's a, I was scrolling through, like, random games in my, MU deck, like, random NES games, and I found a Chinese Wizard of Oz game that's kind of, sort of, a hack of Contra.
Oh no.
It's kind of interesting. What was my favorite part? The parts that I was not reading. No, I'm kidding. My favorite part, I mean, like, honestly, I think looking at the writing style, I noticed there was sort of a, for lack of a better word, sort of congruency between my sort of thought process and LCX's. Like, I kind of have, like, a sort of similar mindset of, like, how I view certain things. And, you know, like as corny as this might sound, I feel like I got a bit closer to Elle.
Thank you. That's because, I put, piece of myself
Yeah.
into my writings.
Yeah, and I think every writer does. Every good writer. But- Yeah, like... Like the, you know, and like, the only thing, though, is, like, I don't think, Alexia and, Melania ever, like, came back. I wonder whatever came of them.
Yes, it's actually covered in the author's notes. But if you
Where are the
would like to
author's
know,
notes?
It's because, it's all in keeping with the theme of the story. It's not perfect. You never get a perfect resolution, so, not everyone will be there for you.
Ah, that's actually... Yeah, that's good. Where are the author's notes? Is that, like,
Should
one of
be
the...
there.
Is that, like, one of the other files, or is it in the program?
No. Should be there when you go to the end of chapter 7.
Oh!
Chapters.
Oh,
There should be
I
a
must have
question
missed that.
Okay.
There should be a question there. Would you like to read the author's notes? So, here's the thing. Go to chapter select.
Oh, wait.
There's a chapter select there.
Crap. I went into the options.
Back. Not there, back. Back to the main menu.
Okay. Chapter select.
Chapter select is under Start.
Author's notes.
There we go. There we go.
Well, that's how it ends. What happens to Samantha and her newfound friend after this story is for another day. One that I personally don't have to write. What did you think? If you felt something, whatever it is, while reading this piece, then I believe that I have done my job as the author. Of course, I will never know about your thoughts if they are not communicated to me. So do feel I think you meant do feel free?
So do tell me.
Oh, do tell me. I'm sorry.
It's a font, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. With that said, there are a few things I'd like to talk about regarding the elements of this particular piece. What were the 7 pieces of a heart all about? When Dr. Rationale and company directly explained the significance of the hearts, there was also an underlying structure behind Samantha's adventure. The use of Siri was not just a cheap trick or an early hook to grab your attention. I, for one, do not believe in hooks, but if you do, then that's all well and good. Okay, bye, King Corgi. By the way, Let me wrench King Corgi, because he's been here before.
Yeah, he's from
Huh?
Slice.
Oh, he's from Alkenslice's streams? Okay. Anyway, get wrenched.
Yeah, range.
Yeah, so, like, the other thing, too, I kind of wondered is, like, since the pieces fit together so well, is it sort of implying that all of these characters are sort of connected? Like, I know, like, obviously, like, I know, Antoinette and Dr. Rationale are connected, but, like, is it trying to imply that, like,
Yes,
the,
exactly.
like, Alexia and Melania, like, they said, like, their father was missing. Is it implying, like, Dr. Rationale might be their father?
No. Their father is dead.
Oh, okay.
There's more to the others.
I know, I'm reading.
The real reason why I used Siri was to leave a clue as to the structure of Samantha's quest. This is also the reason why Dr. Rationale seemed to know a while about what Sam was trying to accomplish. A whole lot about what Sam was trying to accomplish. Simply put, the 7 pieces of heart represent different stages of acceptance. Acceptance, or how to mend a broken heart.
Ah, okay.
I didn't use the particular source for these, of course. You will not find an exact match for 7 different emotional stages of the people that Samantha encountered during her journey by doing a Google search. Yeah, like, I didn't even think of that until I just read that, but yeah, that's, again, like, there's, like, subtle touches within the book, or within the novel, that are really nice. I really appreciate that. The reason for this is because I used theories from different sources and placed them together as I saw fit. To me, the real importance was that they allowed Samantha to encounter all types of people from all walks of life. It's worth noting that the
idol, is it?
The idol?
Idol.
What?
Idol of the
Oh, the title was inspired by a make-believe story title that my 8-year-old niece conceded once upon a Skype voice chat. Okay. I'm trying to think, like, what was the one video game where the objective was to collect heart pieces? Maybe I'm thinking of Zelda?
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. Like that.
On Heartless and Heartless, you may have noticed that, figuratively speaking, Samantha was never really heartless from the story, from the start. And if you did, then congratulations. This is what the main theme of the story was really all about. I kind of figured that. I kind of figured, like, heartless, like, the heart in this case was more symbolic. Everything that was written from chapter 1 and until the finale was all intended to subtly move the reader forward towards asking that final question, what is a heart really? In Samantha, we have a puppet girl / android without a heart. At the same time, this apparently inhuman thing
Inhuman.
as a more impartially for others empathy for others than many real living breathing human beings. This is the true essence of Samantha's story. Why didn't everyone show up in the end? Here we go. This is my question. You may be tempted to believe that it was a fairy tale happy ending, with everyone coming together to support Samantha in the end, but it's not really. If you still recall, Alexia and Melania, the sisters from Chapter 3, never showed up. Yes, I did.
I am one step ahead of the author's notes, yay me.
The reason for this is because in the story I wanted to show some form of realism. Not everything always turns out perfectly in life. And so, even in the fictional story, with the elements of the absurd, such as this one, a picture-perfect happy ending would have been hard to swallow. There are other similar elements with the story that depict my view of reality. The bad guy, Professor Ian, never really got what was coming to him.
Yeah, I guess I kind of noticed that too, but I kind of liked that. I thought that was a nice touch as well. It's something I, kind of thought about, but, I guess didn't really put into words. I'm sure that he at least deserved a good punch from Dr. Rationale. But again, things don't always turn out the way that we want to in life. So it shouldn't be any different in the story. Is this still an idealistic children's story? Oh, it is still an idealistic children's story. With all of these...
It's a title.
Huh?
Those are subtitles.
Oh, yeah. With all of these dark, sometimes imperfect elements added into the story, I would like to believe that Samantha and the Pieces of a Heart are still an idealistic story that can be read and understood at some level by young children, and of course by full-grown adults. Yeah, I would agree to that.
ありがとうだよ。
Hold on. Some were figments of the imagination, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a way you could interpret it. I didn't really interpret it that way, but I guess you could. And
Yes, you could.
yeah, and nobody gets a text to come gather in one location to a special event. Yeah. Well, I mean, creative license, poetic license, whatever. I mean, it's still like a work of fiction, obviously, so things can kind of just happen serendipitously. That's my excuse, anyway.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity. Good song. While writing the story, I tried to pay close attention to my diction and use appropriate wording, but while also keeping it simple and readable for everyone. Well, everyone who isn't Logan, anyway. Samantha does get her somewhat happy ending in the finale, but the reality is that people will still continue to judge her if they know / have heard about the story. Of course, the difference is that Sam has gained a little bit more self-awareness and self-worth after her journey. And sometimes they can make all the difference on inspiration and motivation. The initial inspiration to write the story was an image, though make-believe, title of the same name from my niece once upon a voice chat. Remember Skype? What a piece of shit that was. Basically, yeah. Basically, she mentioned that she had a story called Samantha and the Pieces of a Heart. She was making stuff up on the fly, of course. But the image of a little girl searching for the pieces of her own heart really stuck in my head. Of course, inspiration is one thing, but motivation is another. While I had been brewing the story in my head for a few months, I was never really motivated to write it until yeah, I'm not gonna even attempt to Roop.
Her name is Roop Banerjee, or Anarupa Banerjee.
Banerjee,
She's
okay.
Indian.
Okay.
She's Indian.
A friend I met online, though through my Nagi obsession. Oh god, yeah, now we know this is really LCX. Read almost all of my stories from my visual novel creator days, and I'd like to believe sincerely liked them. This was something... Huh?
Nothing.
This was something new to me, and it was both extremely touching and extremely flattering. It's not like no one ever liked my works before, but so very few people are willing to actually tell you how they feel about your own stories. Yeah, and like now that like you're kind of bigger on YouTube, now that you have like sort of your community, like there's people like, well, mid-tier is probably your biggest supporter, but even I read the thing and I really liked it. I read this and I read the other one that you wrote that I forgot the title of.
Hickory's Ribbon.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Arigatou yo. Thank you.
If you know someone who is a writer, artist, creator, never forget to pay them a simple compliment. If and only if you truly like their works. As an author, I could hope for no greater reward than to know that someone sincerely liked my works for what they were. Yes, critique is important as well, but not everyone wants to be critiqued or wants your advice on how to improve. Yeah, like I've definitely heard like that's like especially like comedians
like, the worst, like, any comedian will tell you, like, the worst thing is, like, here's how I would have done that joke better. Like, okay, well then you come up and you do it, and leave me to do my own shit. Like, let the person decide whether they want to help or not, and don't unnecessarily volunteer critique unless the person specifically asks for it. Fair enough. People forget that creators are human beings as well. And as creative individuals, we tend to come up with a lot more pride than usual. If you consider yourself creative and you do not happen to have pride, then don't apply your personal standards upon everyone else. Yeah. That is the attitude of a tyrant. I'm just imagining, like, your lowly voice reading all of this, and it just works so well. Anyways, Roop urged me to start writing again, since it had been years since I actually wrote a story. When was the last story before this?
I'd say around 4 years ago.
4 years before
no.
this.
Let's see. No, maybe around 2011. So, many years.
Yeah, so that would have been, what, if this came out in
2006.
2017, that would have been, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Or did you say 2016 or 2017? I couldn't remember.
Around, I think 2017 is.
Okay, somewhere around that time. I felt that I could not betray this individual's expectations after that, and thus the result is this piece, Samantha and the Pieces of a Heart. That's all I have to say for now about this story, and I hope to see you again in the future stories to come. Lord Cloud X out. Oh, yeah, that didn't end up happening. So, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I have more stories which I haven't released.
So you are, so you do have more stuff in the works.
Yes.
Any, like, plans for release, or, not yet?
Well, I have released the pilot chapter for my film noir detective style story.
Okay.
It's just on my blog.
Okay.
It's a whodunit.
That could.
Very different from
I like things like that. That could be fun.
It's a lot longer though.
Yeah.
It's quite long, and it's just like 4 chapters right now, but
Yeah.
it's very long. It's written exactly like a novel. This one is more of a children's story.
Yeah, like, and I could see, like, maybe, you know, like, when my nephews are maybe a little bit older, because, like, now they're, like, what, 3, or they're, like, 4, I think. Like,
Yes, not very appropriate.
yeah, like, maybe when they get a little older, like, I don't know, 8 or 9, like, this would be kind of, like, something that I would love to see them look at.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I am flattered.
for sure.
I'm honored.
For sure. Yeah, no, and, I mean, I do admire that. I do admire that, like, you know, it's accessible for children. Obviously, it's, you know, no swearing, no nudity or anything like that, but, like, well, I don't know, maybe in the director's cut there's some nudity, but...
Thank you.
But, yeah, no, like, I do kind of like how... I like your philosophy. I sort of agree to it, honestly. Is that, like, you know, not everything has to have a happy ending. Sometimes you kind of have to have, like, you know, Titanic the main love interest dies at the end, you know?
And now you must read Narcissus on your own time.
Yes.
Give it a try, really. It's quite an experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah, for sure. I might have to. Is that... What, that's on Steam, right?
Yes, it's free on Steam,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
I had like
I
I had a thought of like reading it on my Steam Deck, and then I realized I think I'd rather like gouge my eyes out with an ice pick. That sounds like torture.
Not really, I think, depending on... I mean, the Steam Deck has a giant screen, right?
Yeah, but I guess I could also just hook it up to the TV. Actually, it's probably not even compatible. What am I thinking?
Basically, it happens in 2 lines of text at a time.
Yeah. I need
It's
to
just
like
2 lines of text.
supposedly like there's a way to get Windows games working on the Steam Deck. I still need to figure that out. Like I have a couple games, like I downloaded Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then I found out it is compatible with Steam Deck, but maybe not the version that I got. I don't understand. Like I purchased it and I should be able to play it, but it doesn't
That's kind of
work.
sad.
That's weird.
I'm sure it'll run on a Steam Deck, though.
There's also, yeah, it should. It's supposed to. It says that it's verified compatible. The other thing too is Steel Empire. I assume it's like a remake that exists on Steam. Steel Empire is one of my favorite retro games, so I'd love to be able to play that on my Steam Deck. I think it's a remake of it, or like a remaster.
I don't think I've heard of that. Let me check. Steel Empire.
It's a steampunk shmup, basically. It's a really interesting
Oh,
concept.
Mega Drive.
Yeah, it's a Genesis game. I don't know. Check it out. Play it on Check it out on Emulation Nation tomorrow, maybe.
Yes, I will.
It has really. I love the music of it. In fact, I've a couple of times. I think at this point, I have put it in my starting soon graphic.
Oh, yeah. By the way, one thing I wanted to say about your Aria of Sorrow streams. You know, you could make it easier for yourself if you just bought a bunch of potions before a boss.
Well, I mean, there's only one place to buy potions, as far as I know,
Yes.
and that's going all the way back to the start of the game.
You can teleport. You can teleport there. There are teleporters all over the map.
Okay. I mean, I've got. If I come across a teleporter, I usually will do that.
Yes. Hey, Yasuke says you clearly need them.
Yes, I do.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Yasuke.
Was it really the remake? Hold on. LDP's eyesight, probably not so much. Yeah, exactly. Visual novels are perfect for portables. Yeah, I mean, even people with decent eyesight don't usually like ebooks or something. There are some people who can read an entire ebook on a phone, and then there are some people who are just
It's me.
yeah.
I used to read entire ebooks on feature phone, one of those
Feature
Nokia.
phone. Oh my god! Wow, that's insane. An entire I didn't even know a razor, something like
Yeah.
that.
Something like that. You know, with a keypad and everything.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could load anything onto those. I know there were a couple of games. I remember a couple of games you could download on.
It's called J2ME games.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
J2Me. That's what that is. I always saw that on RetroArch, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I assumed it had something to do with phones. I
There's
also...
quite a few good ones.
I also have no idea how, I don't know if you need, a BIOS or any other kind of, starter files to get that configured, but it's something I wouldn't mind emulating.
think the jar files probably.
The jar files
That's
is...
That's what I used to do on my old PC. You could emulate them with the emulator and just jar files, which
Okay.
are the game files, basically.
Oh, the game file. So I could just go on, like, archive.org and download a full set like normal?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Should
That's-
make that a theme for some future.
Yeah.
From
Well,
the-
hey, you know what? You always said you wanted a mobile stream. There you fucking go.
Yes. Do it.
Hey, these are technically mobile games. We'll spend the entire day playing Snake.
There's better games than that. The Game Loft games are pretty good.
I remember what my mom... The only thing I remember was, like... Well, I guess J2Me must be a little bit must be a little bit newer than I'm thinking. Because, like, my mom had, like, we're talking about, like, feature phones. Feature phones aren't really a thing anymore. But, like, they're still making
Yeah.
J2Me games.
There are two types. There's S40 and S60. The S60 games are for bigger screens and generally are better than the S40 version.
Okay.
Or sometimes they're the same, but with higher resolution, or S60.
Yeah, like when I was looking at that Wikipedia, when I was doing that Tetris stream, I saw like Tetris J2Me 2018, and I was like, oh wow, that's really recent. I guess it might also be like a sorry.
Must be better then, because it's 2018.
Yeah, I assume
Right?
like J2Me games, like feature phones like that, are probably more for like developing markets. Like, you know, not everybody can afford a smartphone, so they have a feature phone, and they can still play some decent quality games on it.
That's over here. That's not what feature phones are used for. Feature phones are used as burner phones.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of the same thing here. Is just like I'm pretty sure the entire reason feature phones exist at this point is for drug dealers. Like,
You got your main smartphone, you got your feature phone that if it's stolen, now who cares? It's cheap.
yeah, or if you want to commit a crime and just quickly destroy it so it's not traceable.
Ah, yes. I actually know how to make a detonator using one of those.
A detonator.
It's easy. It's easy. You just, basically, you have one phone, you strip it, and, make sure that the antenna is, going to spark. Going to create a spark.
Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna be on an FBI watch list. Thank you.
And then you keep, then you place it inside some gunpowder, and then make sure it can receive a signal, right?
Yeah.
And then all you have to do to detonate it is to call it. You
Oh,
call
wow.
it, the antenna sparks, boom.
Cool.
Make a long call, antenna sparks on the other phone, boom.
Cool. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to make a totally unrelated trip to the White House. I will see you, shortly. Now,
You learn a lot of things from, I don't know where I learned that.
yeah. It's shit you pick up, I'm sure.
Yeah. Reading stuff online.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm probably going to call it a stream. I think I will...
Listen,
Huh?
I'm about to sleep, actually.
Yeah, good.
It's 3:35 a.m.
I was gonna do Castlevania tonight. I think I'll actually do that tomorrow night.
Alrighty.
Because I already have a stream. I'm assuming nobody is live right now, so I don't think we're gonna raid. But
I'd just like to say once again, thank you, LDP, and thank you everyone for reading along with us.
yeah,
LDP especially for hosting this.
Yeah.
Even if I don't think it's going to help you make a meme.
yeah, I don't think so,
I'm
but
happy that you read it.
yeah,
I'm happy that you read my story.
yeah,
Thank you very
and
much. Sincerely.
yeah, and thank you for coming on to my stream. It was a really fun time. I definitely want to do something like this again sometime.
Oh, sure thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, letting me onto your stream as well the other a little while ago. We played TMNT Shredder's Revenge. That was fun, especially when I found out how the punch button worked. So, you know.
Now that was a fun part.
Yes.
I didn't notice, actually. The chat noticed.
Yes. Anything not to get help for Castlevania? Well, Yasuke, shut up.
You should just come on to his stream during Discord.
Yeah, there you go.
Discord, I mean.
You know what? Yeah, maybe. You know what, Yasuke? Would you ever want to like do a collab? Maybe tomorrow night if you're free. If not, we could like schedule something else. We could do a collab, and you can help me play Aria of Sorrow, or something like that, or whatever. We can discuss the details in private. But anyway, again, thank you so much to everyone, especially LCX, for coming in, letting me read her story, and you know, having a nice, fun discussion along the way. Yeah, Yasuke is up for it. Anyway, thank you to everyone else in chat. Thank you, Karumi, Retro Gamer Yasuke, KE, Great White North, Wolfpack, El Nino 2.0, the King Corgi, everyone. Thank you so very much. Good night, and thank you for coming to our TED Talk. Bye, everyone. Nyan, 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 si, nyan. I don't know Japanese, so I can't sing this verse. Bye.
It's English. It's English.
Is it? Oh.